Hello everyone. A warm welcome to you all. It is complete pleasure for us at Propel Guru to have you all on board for an amazing webinar. It will be just few minutes before we get started. And now comes your webinar host.
Welcome everyone. I am Malika Pathak, host for today, and we are just a few seconds away from Propel Guru's webinar on connecting the dots, mindful self-compassion. On the speaker panel, we have Rhythm Malhotra, the founder of the Skillet School and who also happens to be an accredited soft skills trainer and image consultant, along with Ajay Dubedi, the CEO and founder of Propel Guru. So Rhythm, on that note, so would you like to introduce yourself for our audience? Also, can you tell us the story behind your journey with the Skillet School and what it is all about? And also, I think it's a bit long question. What was the inspiration that prompted you to start this amazing initiative?
Okay, so hello everyone, and thank you once again for joining in today. My name is Rhythm and I'm an image consultant and a soft skills trainer. The story behind Skillet is actually, I started working in this field almost 3.5 years back, and just for fun. Actually, it started off for fun, but like they say, we all have these defining moments which sort of change the course of our lives. So it was one such training that I was doing at a corporate firm, and post the 5-day training, this girl comes to me and she touches my feet. And all those who do not know about that, in India, it's considered the highest form of respect. And I was 25 back then, and this girl was probably 21, 22, so hardly any age gap. And when I asked her, like, why would you do that to me? And her reply was that I saw something in her that nobody else did. And she felt that she existed in the classroom. And I think that very moment I realized that I was being the person I needed when I was younger. I never had anybody look me in the eye and say, Rhythm, you're going to make, your future is going to be bright, or you're going to make a difference in the world. So I think in that moment I realized that I have to be that person that I needed. And that is how Skillet started. And not just the creation of Skillet, but also the foundation of the values. Skillet is not just a training company. I really believe that hope is what we sell as a product, and skill development and etiquette development is a byproduct. So that is the story behind the Skillet School.
So Ajay, would you like to introduce yourself and your organization Propel Guru for our audience, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am one of the founder of Propel Guru, and I manage the CRM solution department as well as some part of customer success as well. Along with you, Malika. So we are a team of 70 plus experts. We call our experts as experts in modern selling, digital marketing. We help teams, individuals, many times individuals and organizations across the globe to maximize profit outreach, basically. And ultimately that should lead into sales and growth. So we work across multiple domains, mostly education, e-commerce, healthcare, real estate, and technology altogether. So that is what we do. And as far as a quick journey, I would like to say is, yes, I always wanted to be in like the social marketing, like social selling. So that is something which I always wanted to be in. That is one of the skills I see, like I have a really good blessed skills in myself. So that is what I'm doing right now.
Right. So, Rhythm, would you like to enlighten our wonderful audience with some insights about mindfulness and self-compassion?
Yes, I will. I absolutely would love to, actually, because I feel compassion is what is going to save the world. And I really mean that. And in today's time, I think it is the need of the hour. And when I say today's time, I'm really referring to the COVID times that we are collectively going through. Pandemic has impacted all of humanity, and even if we have the same medical symptoms, the other challenges all of us are facing, it's very different. So it's very important that we are compassionate towards each and every one. And again, compassion, like charity, begins at home. You have to start being compassionate towards your own self, to be truly compassionate, to be towards someone else. So compassion, if I could define it, is if I go by the books, it is having the desire to help the one who's suffering. So really showing that warmth and that kindness towards someone who is going through a tough time, having a failure, and just acknowledging all of it as a part of human experience. That is what compassion is. So when we have to define self-compassion, it would really mean that treating yourself as you would treat somebody you love, somebody who's come to you for help, right? But here's the catch. We can still be compassionate towards others, but we are not very easily able to be compassionate towards our own self. And there I feel the problem there lies is that we are not really open to be vulnerable. So vulnerability, I believe, is the cause from where compassion is the root for compassion to begin, right? So when somebody, I'll take an example. If somebody calls up and says that, oh, I had a breakup, let's just take that example. We wouldn't tell our friends that, oh, of course, you're fat or you're ugly and you are needy. That's why the person broke up. You would never say that. Right? You would always give a better narrative. But when it comes to your own self, you would actually be saying these things to yourself. No, you're fat. Maybe that's why the person left you. Oh, you're too needy. You're too clingy. That is why the person left you. So what happens, the difference here is that the person on the other end is being vulnerable, is really exposing himself or herself in front of us and telling that this is the problem. I am not okay. But when it comes to us, we are not ready to accept that we are not okay. We think Rhythm, like, how can it happen to Rhythm? You know, Rhythm has set these standards for herself that no, Rhythm cannot fail in a relation. To be compassionate, I think we need to start being vulnerable to our own selves and really expose ourselves of the emotional trauma or emotional wrong that we are going through. So yeah, that is what I would say is compassion and self-compassion.
Right. So Rhythm, you are a leading authority on exploring the role of self-compassion and working through self-criticism to make behavior changes. What is that all about?
Again, I would say self-criticism is just that voice in your head, right? It is like that the thing that, oh, the next words that you're going to say may not make a difference or may not be very good, may not impress people ahead of, in front of me. So that is that ticking voice that we have in our heads. All of us have it. Right. Oh, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not intellectual enough. So that voice is basically self-criticism. And again, if we start being kind to our own selves, if we start being vulnerable to our own selves, that it's okay to not have such standards. Because what is vulnerability? It is you have your standards, and if you're not really thinking of, if you're not working on those standards, you feel you are failing, and that is where the critical voice comes in. Self-critical, I believe, is that voice inside our heads that is always ticking and always telling us that we are not good enough, we are not intellectual enough, or we are not enough. And that can only be subsided, and that can only be taken care of if we are showing ourselves enough kindness, enough acknowledgement that it is okay to fail, that it is okay to be human, because all of it is actually a part of being human. It is all the human experience. So yes, of course, self-compassion does help in getting our self-critical voice low and just getting better normally.
Right. So, Rhythm, which are the most important soft skills for decision makers, employees, and also why? And another part of that question is also, does the Skillet School have experience with and offer such services?
Okay. So yes, we do have these services, and these actually, the skills that is required by decision makers and the employers and employees. apart from being compassionate towards oneself and others, I believe emotional intelligence is really, really important.
Right.
People think that IQ is bigger, but science has proven time and again that it's EQ that matters. So emotional intelligence is one. Then I would also say transactional analysis, which is the psychology behind the kind of communications you have. So that is very important. And third, I would talk about etiquette. So general etiquette. And here there's a misconception people have about etiquette. People think etiquette is all about snobbery, being snobbish, just showing that, oh, you are different from others. But no, etiquette in real terms mean that you are showing respect to people around you, and you are being considerate to people around you. Because people don't understand the concept of etiquette, they don't think it's important. But when you get into it, when you read about it, when you learn about it, you understand that that is one thing that a human should know.
Right.
So I believe these three skills are extremely important, and of course, why it's very self-explanatory that if a leader or a team member is not emotionally intelligent or is not considerate towards the people around them, you can't function properly, and you wouldn't have a very good interpersonal relationship. And for a company to thrive, the team members and the teams, they need to be really interconnected, and they really need to have mutual respect for each other. So these skills help create that mutual respect for each other, and that's why it's important. And to answer to your the last part of the question, we do offer these services at the Skill at School.
Great.
Yeah.
So on that note, Ajay, do you feel etiquette and soft skills play a big role in personality development?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, when we talk about personality development, see, this is something which I believe starts from the very early stage. Like I'm a parent, I have a daughter, and I can see a lot of things going on which I can correlate with my own childhood. Okay, and although everyone have their own stories, okay, of their own childhood, like how their upbringing, what they learned, where they failed, how they got depressed, and how they got super excited and like made some more mistakes. Okay, so everyone has its own part of personality development. I believe etiquette does plays a big part in creating an image. Okay, correct etiquette is a business or a social situation, be it dining or corporate meeting or anything else, goes a long way to create a powerful image. Many often I say this, that what is the difference between a villain and a super villain? Okay, when both of the same does the same job, right, causing problems in a stable world or doing things like that. So I believe the difference is that presentation, that like that planning, that how a villain walks, how a villain talks, and how they plot, they does the strategy, that entire development. Probably this is not a good example at all, but this is something which I always try to convey, because whenever I give up such kind of a weird, I can call it a weird example, it will stay in your mind. Okay, and you will try to correlate, like, okay, this is something which is either funny, weird, or kind of offensive, but not that much. But it's all about how good you can present yourself in via soft skills, via etiquettes, via mannerism, like however you want to present yourself, how well you can do that without actually causing any problem for your image or for your friends or people around you, human beings around you. And this is exactly what I'm sure Rhythm does with image consulting. Okay, so she helps people carve out an image that the way they want the people want themselves to see. Okay, and make things predictable in their favor. So I hope I'm right, Rhythm, right?
You're absolutely right, and I must say I love the analogy of a villain and a super villain. I am definitely going to use that someday. I loved it, absolutely. And yes, as an image consultant, we help people build from inside out. So of course the packaging does matter, but I love the analogy of two gifts, one which is wrapped very well and the other one is not wrapped well but has more value inside. and the nicely wrapped gift does not have something very valuable. So as an image consultant, I make sure that you are packaged well and you have value in you, because either of the other situations are not going to make you feel very good. They are going to be like, okay, you get happy in the beginning seeing the package, and when you open it, you are disappointed. Or the vice versa, you are disappointed just looking at it, and then when you open, you feel, okay, there is something of value, so I'm happy now. But as an image consultant, I make sure that you are not just packaged well, but also have good inside. You have value inside. So it's a work that I do from inside out, working on your behavior, your attitude, your mannerisms, and then of course comes your visual appearance, that how you look, how you are dressing, or how you are conducting yourself. So
Right.
yes, that is what image consulting is all about.
Right. So, Rhythm, it is said that image consultants can help anyone improve or fine-tune their behavior and communication skills as well. So, how true is that?
It's really, really true. And like I mentioned, there is a whole misconception about image consulting also, because the word image is like how people perceive you. But it all starts from how you perceive yourself. So the days when I am not feeling okay and the days when I want to take off, I would be in my pajamas. I would definitely,
Right.
because I want to be seen as somebody who is not working and who does not want to take any responsibility. But on the other hand, when I have a meeting to attend, or when I have a seminar, I would dress accordingly. I would behave accordingly. I would be
Right.
more authoritative. I would be more assertive in my voice. So all of that is image. Image is not just what you see, but also what you feel and how you behave. All of that is image. So yes, and as an image consultant, we help people understand that, and we help not just with their visual appearance, but also what lies inside them and what image they think they have. So working on self-esteem is one of the most important aspects of what an image consultant does.
Right, right. So, Ajay, what is the significance of brand image and positioning in the corporate world, according to you?
So I think that is a very important question. Many of our existing clients or people, friends as well, who run their own business, they ask me, or I see that this questions floating around the world, and like in all the discussions and meetings and seminars. The true answer is like many companies, online or offline, when they try to create a brand, they try to create an image which is at times away from what they are actually doing. Okay, and anyone who is leading a marketing team or an image building team in that particular company must always consider that business branding is an important and an individual branding, for a simple reason that it brings you to the attention to your target audience. Okay. And in fact, today's tech-savvy customers do a lot of research, so you can't hide anything. And even a single bad review, and especially a bad review of like a 1,000 words, like a complete essay in itself, will cause a huge dent in your image. Okay,
Right.
So making sure that every business must emphasize significantly on building a brand equity and increasing customer loyalty. That will happen automatically. So you need to make sure, if you are running a marketing campaign, or if you are running a complete marketing team, you should be ensuring that you are building up a good brand image, and you are not trying to falsify things. Rather than a considerable increase in brand building by enhancing things, or to say like the stuff which was done. Okay,
Right.
is possible, but completely coming up with a fake story, that's obviously going to challenge you. And lastly, businesses must prevent themselves as problem solvers and should always try to identify the pain points to give value to the customers, and not just target them as a dollar coming their way. Even in our pipeline, which we do in Propel Guru, we try to make sure that, okay, what was the ROI generated? Okay, and based on that, we value the customer rather than what revenue we generated. Okay, so that is two very critical things, and at times it is difficult to compare how much ROI we were able to generate and what's the revenue we extracted or we built that to that particular customer. But yes, the ROI is always the most important thing, because that will bring in the recurring customers, and that is actually going to increase the brand value and bring more referrals and more customers, and it will, in effect, it will increase. And trust me, the right set of business branding can help business owners expand their audience, increase website traffic, build brand affinity, and cultivate leads altogether.
Right. So, Rhythm, in a world where people judge others and instantly make perceptions about them, so how important it is for people to consult an image consultant like you?
So going with what Ajay said, I would say it's how for businesses it's important to have a consultant who is helping them build a digital brand. It is equally important for people to come to an image consultant to have their own brand. Right? Now, Skillet is a brand in itself, but Rhythm Malhotra is a brand in herself. Similarly, a person has a business, and both are equally important, because your digital world also cannot work without a brand. You have Apple. What is Apple? I mean, it's a brand. The first thing that comes to your mind is, okay, it's user friendly. It is very easy to use. These are the brand values. And when you talk about Steve Jobs, very intellectual, very empathetic, so these are the words that come to our mind when we talk about Steve Jobs. So even though they are related, but they both have their own brands. So definitely judging is a word that I feel is a bit harsh, but perceptions, we all make perceptions, right? It's how we humans are designed, and I always say, no matter how much we change ourselves or transform ourselves, we are going to perceive, because that's how we are hardwired to perceive things and to make assumptions and to have perceptions. So image consulting is again like building an authentic image of yours. When you go to an image consultant, that person helps you build an authentic image, something that is enhanced version of you, but not a different version of you. Again, going by what Ajay said, it is you enhance it. You are not like Mr. X is not going to turn into Mr. Y, but it is going to turn into Mr. X plus something more, enhanced version, a better version of himself. So yes, that is how we help clients change, enhance themselves and transform themselves. So it's very, very important to have a brand of your own self. People should know you by your name. The moment someone takes your name, they should know, okay, these are the things that come to your mind. I can trust them. It helps build relationships, all sort of relationships, not just personal, but also professional. You wouldn't go to somebody you think is not very trustworthy. Why would you hire that person? Why would you partner that person in a company? Right?
Nice.
So image consultant helps build a very authentic.
I have a quick question for Rhythm. So
Yeah.
Rhythm, what about this brand building? And I might be going in a bit of wrong direction. By wrong, I don't mean exactly opposite, but somewhat similar. What about the brand building, which probably you all are doing already for celebrities, for politicians, which altogether might be a different concept, right?
Yes. So I will explain that with an example here. And I don't want to get into controversies, but we have a big, we have this big.
Don't take any names.
Celebrity, yeah, I'm not taking any names, but the celebrity big thing that happened, right? I mean, I'm sure Indian audience is going to get it. So there was a news that all these leading actresses, they are wearing kurtis and going, right? They're not in their those jazzy clothes. They are very simply dressed in those kurtis and going for the investigations. So that definitely is a part of image building, right? Because if you go in a jazzy cloth, even if you're saying the truth, I'm no way saying that they are either lying or telling the truth, but if they were going in those jazzy clothes, flashy colors, nobody would trust them. They won't. That's psychology. It's not. It is absolutely not about any science, but it is. It is all about your psychology. There's no rules. It is psychology that you would perceive somebody, a person who is in a beige color, and somebody who is wearing a neon. You are going to think the person in a beige blazer is more authentic and more trustworthy. That's the first thing that's going to come to our mind. So yes, of course, celebrities do have to play different roles, right? So this was a very recent example and a very daily life example. That's why I
Right.
picked it up. Even though people are saying that, oh, why have they shifted to kurtis and not all these flashy clothes? They have to. Because they want to be seen as somebody who is being very authentic. And of course, comfort is what comes next. They wouldn't be comfortable in their stilettos and their tight clothes. So they have to be a little more breezy, and that is how an image consultant helps. I think that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted you to talk a bit about that as well, because that is something which I also foresee. Like, especially with it becomes a challenge when you are trying to build a good image for something which is probably consciously, like it's not correct, or it's very difficult. Something like alcohol, okay, something like you have tobaccos, okay, cigarettes, okay. So to do that, obviously it's a job, it's a marketing thing, okay, and I'm not sure how they do it. Probably I'll have to learn something more, but those are the things which are very difficult to build a brand image from, and I'm not sure how how one can revolve like something like that into a much more positive way.
No, I absolutely get it. I mean, brands like selling tobaccos and all this, it's a difficult thing. And I myself would have to do research on this, that why do they do it? But I'm sure they have those subtle things. An example I could give here is alcohol, like you mentioned. So I can't really think of something, but I think it's... I can't really recall. So they would never, if they have TV ads, they would not talk about, oh, they are alcohol. They would say soda, right? They are trying to put it in your head, and they are building an image that it is, it's water, or I really cannot think of an example. The brand.
No matter in our whole life, we haven't drank that that brand of mineral water, but they are selling it.
Absolutely, but they're selling it. So it's one, they're of course letting the customer know that we exist. Right, so that's the way they are marketing, and of course they are showing that we are not just alcohol, we are also catering to your health. Mineral water is good for health. So I think that is a part of image that they are building.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So I think at the end, everyone is trying to create a positive perception in everyone's mind, isn't it? And try to dodge or avoid creating any negative perceptions in anyone, because at the end, people are in corporate world to create a brand and not actually suffer from anything negative, isn't it?
I would, Malika, like to correct you here, because again, when we talk about positive and negative, we're talking about two very different dimensions, and I think it can get into a little more controversial. Oh, why don't you want to show negative? If you are a villain, why would you want to show that you are a saint? Right. What image consulting and what brand building, even in terms of brands like companies, is that we are trying to build an authentic image, showing what we truly are, not just showing our positive side or our negative side. We are showing that we are authentic, and by authentic, it comes across whether we are negative or positive.
So it's totally about being true to ourselves. Doesn't matter if it is positive or negative. It is what we are.
Yes, until unless you are trying to deceive somebody. You're not deceiving someone.
That's a whole another different story that we don't want to get into.
Yeah.
So I believe this actually brings us to the end of our webinar, and thank you so much for Rhythm for your insights and these amazing points that that we feel that we have learned a lot, and I think it's going to help a lot of people who will be watching this webinar. I think they're going to get some really good points to work on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Malika and Ajay and Propel Guru for having me here. It was a complete honor for me, and I absolutely love the conversation that we had.
Right, absolutely.
Sure, thanks, and it's our pleasure. We'll soon make sure that we are able to bring another quick topic, or probably we can get you back in our show. Yeah.
I would love that. I would completely love that. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much, Ajay and Rhythm. Thanks again. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you. Bye-bye.